Our next speaker is our very own Federico Kunze, tech lead for Ethermint, to discuss use cases for fast finality and interoperable EVM. And we'll bring Federico to the main stage. Go ahead and turn on your cam and mic.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. The stage is yours. Enjoy.
Try share my screen. Yeah. Ethermint. So I'm going to talk today about Ethermint on use cases for fast finality and interoperable EVM. So what is Ethermint in particular? Ethermint is a scalable and high throughput proof of stake blockchain that is fully compatible and interoperable with Ethereum. Now I'm going to go through each of these statements from this phrase here. So what means that Ethermint is horizontally scalable? Ethermint leverages IVC and bridges through unpeg zones to be able to connect with multiple blockchains. It also has a high throughput in the sense that it uses Tendermint as a consensus engine, so it enables high transaction per second and also a high vertical scalability. It also has fast finality with little to no confirmation period. So instead of having a Nakamoto consensus as an Ethereum, you know for sure that your transaction will be finalized and included in a block as soon as the block is committed. Ethermint is also compatible with the EVM and existing Web3 tooling, so that developers can build and deploy their same smart contracts as they currently do on Ethereum without having to redeploy everything. And one of the last important features of Ethermint is that it has zero or near zero gas prices. On Cosmos, the gas itself is set per validator, the minimum gas prices. So you can effectively send near zero gas transactions within Ethermint. Let's talk about the architecture of Ethermint now. Ethermint is built using the Cosmos SDK framework for building application-specific blockchains. The SDK uses modules to kind of like out of the box create all the business functionality and business logic that each application-specific blockchain requires. So in this particular case, we build Ethermint with EVM compatibility as an SDK module so that other projects can also import it. It uses Tendermint core consensus engine through AVCI, which is the application blockchain interface that connects directly with the Cosmos SDK and to the EVM module that we have. And Ethermint also provides JSON RPC and WebSocket clients so that you can interact with Web3 tooling. And it also contains gRPC REST and CLI clients out of the box from Cosmos so that developers can interact more freely and easily with the blockchain from the Cosmos and Ethereum tooling as well. So the SDK provides out-of-box modules which enable many of the features that Ethermint has, such as like Auth, which has the account and signature authentication. The bank module will handle balances and local transfers within the same chain, in this case, Ethermint. It has a built-in on-chain governance so that the community can submit parameter change proposals, some of the parameters from the EVM. It can also have like near zero downtime parameter chain upgrade proposals so that the community can coordinate around an upgrade for a new software upgrade. And it also has community proposals for leveraging the community pool funds in order to boost development and foster the development within a single chain. Most importantly, Ethermint runs on proof of stake. So all that functionality is wrapped within the staking module. There are also some modules within the SDK that handle the reward distribution through inflation and minting, and also penalties through slashing in case there's a downtime or double signing of a validator. And last but not least, there's the IBC module, which will enable cross-chain interoperability, which I will explain shortly. So the core component of Ethermint is the EVM module. The EVM module is standalone SDK module that implements this Ethereum state EV interface. This allows us to be fully compatible with Ethereum EVM. And the EVM module has been built in a way that you can use all your existing keys and addresses from Ethereum, from your favorite tooling and wallets, directly into Ethermint without having to do any context switching. So the EVM itself performs VM state transitions such as create on call to create smart contract or call another addresses and perform a smart contract execution. And it will also allow you to import state and accounts directly from Ethereum in a friendly way through a hard spooning mechanism. This will basically take a snapshot of an Ethereum state, filter it if you want, and import it directly into the EVM state, EVM module state. And for upgrades, you can also have near instant chain upgrades by exporting the state directly and submitting an upgrade parameter upgrade proposal. The other really important feature that I will explain on the use case layer is that the EVM has customizable parameters and chain configuration that any application-specific blockchain within Cosmos can customly, for example, like implement or enable certain EIPs, enable change the EVM token, etc. So now I'll talk about the two main use cases that we see within chains for Ethermint. And the first one is leveraging Ethermint as a solo chain, as a standalone chain. So as I mentioned before, Ethermint will be an EVM compatible blockchain on Cosmos, and we see a huge amount of interest in having a fast finality and interoperable chain within Cosmos that can leverage these two ecosystems and bridge them into a single one. So that you can use existing explorers, wallets, and other clients from both Cosmos and Ethereum. And you'll have, because of IBC and other bridges, such as Chain Bridge, you will have interoperability natively built in with other Cosmos blockchains and BFT blockchains in general on Ethereum. Developers can also use the Photons, which we'll explain now, which is the staking token for Ethermint, that will provide a higher security for the proof of stake blockchain, in this case, Ethermint chain. And the other main benefits of having to use for a developer is the ease of use for deploying their existing smart contract from Ethereum on Ethereum testnets into Ethermint chain, and thus enabling proof of stake, on-chain governance, and building metrics for transfers on the smart contracts that they're executing. So they have like full control of their tooling as well. I briefly mentioned about the Photon. The Photon will be the native token of Ethermint, and it will be used as a staking token, an EVM token as well for executing smart contract and state transitions within the EVM. We wanted to have parity with mainnet Ethereum and Ethereum in general, so we we decided for the Photon to have the same precision as ETH and Wei. So the smallest denomination will be the out of Photon, which will be the CMIL for Wei and Ethereum. And the second use case that we wanted to mention, that it's really important not only for developers, but also for other projects that wanted to have fully compatible smart contract functionality with interchain, is implementing the EVM module as a dependency. So it can be imported as you see here. So this would be like a Cosmos chain. You can import all the built-in SDK modules, such as IBC, staking and governance, and also the Ethermint module, to have a greater customization for your smart contract execution, for your chain parameters, EIP, custom support, and in general, like EVM configuration for your specific chain. So here's a summary table that we built for what is the pros and cons of each of the use cases. So in terms of maintenance, the Ethermint chain, from a developer's perspective that already is familiar with smart contracts in Solidity in Ethereum, deploying their existing smart contract on Ethermint will have little to none maintenance. Whereas deploying those same contracts on another application-specific blockchain, it'll be up to that blockchain to maintain that chain, maintain the infrastructure, or partner with the infrastructure providers in the ecosystem to kind of like deploy the Genesis and upgrade the software through upgrades, etc. But importing the EVM module as a dependency enables like a greater customizability of the EVM parameters and in general the chain parameters, whereas in the Ethermint it will be all subject to governance and to the community. We want to have a really high security for the staking for the proof of stake chain of Ethermint. So we'll want to leverage that for the token, the Photon, to have a really high value. Because we see all these use cases that Ethermint can bring by having this fast finality and interpretability EVM within Cosmos and Ethereum. And whereas in terms of security, it will be custom set by the application-specific blockchain that imports the EVM module. So if you're building a like a POA-like chain, you'll have a custom security with a custom number of validators, but having all the feature set from the EVM itself. The other great advantage of deploying your smart contracts from Solidity directly into the Ethermint chain will have built-in interpretability with other Cosmos chain through IBC and bridges, as I mentioned. Whereas interpretability features will be up to each of these application-specific blockchains to deploy. So I wanted to briefly mention two main use cases for enterprise and the Ethermint chain. So enterprises, there are many enterprises, business logic and business use cases that require fast finality and high customization. So this is why in Ethereum, it's really relevant for enterprises to use a POA-like chain that offer greater customizability. Importing the EVM as a dependency for other existing projects that want to leverage this and have their existing smart contract built in, this is a great option to do this. And the greatest advantage is the customizability, as I mentioned, and the built-in governance mechanism that Cosmos provides. So you can, for example, enable like many use cases like payments, IoT devices, supply chain and supply chain financing, because of the fast finality of smart contracts and payments within the EVM that are supported. And the other use case is leveraging the Ethermint chain as a side chain for Ethereum. You could we would see Ethermint as a sort of like a DeFi hub to bridge Ethereum and Cosmos. We also foresee that there will be many DeFi projects to deploy their smart contracts directly into Ethereum, into Ethermint, so that you can do cross-chain smart contract execution and cross-chain transfers between Ethermint and Ethereum and Cosmos, and leveraging the zero or near zero gas prices as a side chain for Ethereum and other Cosmos chains as well. Finally, I wanted to briefly touch about the interoperability features of Ethermint. This will be mainly be available through IBC, which is expected to be live on the Cosmos ecosystem later this year, early next one. And Ethermint will be a major component of the interoperability within the Cosmos ecosystem. So there are two main ways to achieve this interoperability within native Ethereum, for example. And one is through a bridge directly through Ethereum. This could be through ChainBridge, which is a major project within ChainSafe, and also through other PEGZone projects within Cosmos, such as Peggy. And the other could be like using the Cosmos Hub or another proxy chain with IBC relayers and PEGZone relayers to kind of like do like a two-hop directly to Ethereum, so that the Ethermint chain doesn't have to maintain its own pseudo finality logic to kind of like achieve this interoperability with mainnet Ethereum. So you're invited to join our first public testnet that is now live, and you can have you can read more information about this public testnet or in our documentation, docs.ethermint.zone. Feel free to jump into the documentation if you want to read more, or also learn more about the available resources that we have. And please don't forget that ChainSafe is also hiring more engineers to join our team and other teams within ChainSafe. So please go to chainsafe.io/careers if you are interested. Thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Federico. Very informative. Can't wait to see what the future holds for Ethermint. Use cases mentioned are quite interesting. We do have a Q&A question here for you. What was one of the biggest challenges integrating the EVM as a module to the Cosmos SDK?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, absolutely. What was one of the biggest challenges integrating the EVM as a module to the Cosmos SDK?
Yeah, so it's not the biggest challenge. I wouldn't say it's just like implementing the EVM itself. I think it's the interoperability within the Ethermint consensus engine from Tendermint Core and the Nakamoto consensus logic. So for example, just to give a concrete example, like JSON RPC from Ethereum expects you to have like pending transactions, for example, or pending queries to blocks that haven't yet been committed to the state. But because of Tendermint BFT, all the transactions are committed instantly. It's really, we had to like kind of like do some work around there to kind of like try to get those transactions from the Tendermint mempool and kind of like show them to the user on the RPC as well. And also the second biggest challenge was to make it like fully customizable, so that other chains could also benefit from having the EVM module for these enterprises business cases that I mentioned as well. And achieving that was really like complex in terms of what decisions should we make in terms of what parameters do we want to be custom and which ones not. And we had to kind of like do a major refactor as well to kind of like give the flexibility for chains to use your custom token as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Another question here. Does Ethermint support Metamask?
It does. So there we have a guide for how to connect directly to MetaMask. That guide you can find it on our documentation, docs.ethermint.zone, where you can find more as well to how to connect to Truffle and other popular Ethereum tooling as well.
Awesome. Last question here. What zones are you most excited about connecting to Ethermint through IBC?
I think any chain that provides like DeFi is definitely interesting, so that you can kind of like have a DeFi workflows, for example, from Ethereum to Cosmos as well. And there are a lot of interesting business case and like business logic that are built by each of the chains. So I think like I wouldn't have to name like any specific blockchain, but like there like was some contracts within Cosmos and having cross-chain smart contract execution. I think it's the most relevant use cases for one of the most relevant use cases for this interoperability thing, so that you can from a chain call a contract, even if it's another VM like WASM or the EVM on other chain, do that cross-chain execution. I think that will be really cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Federico. Great presentation. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.